Okay, so let's go ahead and start. So the first two equations here are going to be a review of what we worked on last week. As Kaylon told us, it's going to be solving two-step equations. Every single time I go to solve equations, what is the very first thing that I'm going to do? Every single time. Kaylon? Draw my line of equality. And then Daisha? Circle the variable. Why do I circle the variable? What's the purpose of circling the variable? Because that's my visual clue that I want to get that variable by itself, which means I have to get rid of anything else that is on the same side as the variable, meaning I'm going to have to get rid of the 3 and the 7. But if you remember last week, I can't just pick any random number to get rid of first. I have to use what to help me determine where to start? Kaylin?
You gotta get this 3 by itself. I mean the 3a by itself. So you gotta minus 7.
But how do you know you're going to start with that minus 7? What mnemonic device did we use to remind us to get rid of that minus 7? SADMAP. Good, Kira. So what is SADMAP? What does that stand for?
Subtract, addition, multiplication.
Good. So what's SADMAP backwards? PEMDAS, which means order of operations. So we're basically doing order of operations backwards. So Kaylon said we're going to start with the plus 7. The inverse operation of plus 7. Kaylon, go ahead and finish this one. Is what?
Subtract 7.
And whatever I do to one side of the line of equality.
The other, then that's going to give you, negative 3. Oh no, that's going to give you negative 9. My bad.
Okay. And then what do I do on my left side of my line?
You go bring your 3a down. Then you go break your equal sign.
On my line of equality. One more thing I want you to do.
What you gonna do? Circle your A?
No, not quite yet. They should help him out.
Don't you like divide it by
Nope, not yet.
I saw the plus 7 and minus 7.
Yeah, show that the plus 7 and the negative 7 cancel each other out.
Oh.
All right, now, so that's step 1 of our two-step equation. Now you guys are back down to a one-step equation. Kaylon, how do I get the a by itself from here?
You divide 3 by 3. You divide by 3. You cross the 3. The 3 divided by 3 out. You'll bring your a down. You'll make the equal symbol. Then it's gonna be negative 3 divided by 3.
No, wait. Read that to me.
Negative 9. My bad. Divided by 3. That's gonna give you negative 3.
And
There you go, by.
final answer. Good. Good. Okay. Y'all have it? Let's take a look at the next one here. The next one's going to be a little bit different than what you guys are used to. But I'm going to start off with what I know, which is circling the variable and drawing my line of equality. Now, how many steps is this equation going to be? Raise your hand if you know. Kelly?
3 step?
3 step. How do you know it's going to be 3 steps?
Because you have to, I don't know.
Can somebody explain why this is a 3-step equation? Damon? Why is this a 3-step equation? Okay. Well, we have a 7 in there. What else do we have in there?
4.
And a 3, yeah. So we have 3 operations, or we have 3 numbers that we have to get rid of. So they would call this a multi-step equation. If you can solve a 1-step equation and you can solve a 2-step equation, you can solve a multi-step equation. So we're going to follow the same rules by using SADMAP to determine what to get rid of first. If you guys remember all the way back to last week, when I have a number and a variable on the top part of my fraction or the top part of my division sign, what should I do to them?
Wait, can you repeat that?
Yep, I sure can. When you have a number and a variable
You bring them
on
down.
the top part of your fraction or the top part of your division problem, what should you do to them?
You should, I forgot it.
That's okay. Say it again. We're going to put parentheses around it. Why do I put parentheses around it, Kira? Save it for later, because when do I do parentheses according to SADMAP? Last. So if I'm going to do what's in the parentheses last, I'm going to have to get rid of what number first, Jalen? If I'm going to do what's in the parentheses last, what am I gonna have to get rid of first? So if I'm not gonna mess with this, the 7. So what's the inverse operation of the 7 here? So multiply, good. So I'm gonna multiply each side by 7, because the golden rule, whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. Okay. Then what do I bring down on my left side, Jalen? What else? 3b.
Oh, -4.
Yeah. So now we did the first step. So now we have 2 steps to complete yet. What's the next number that I'm going to get rid of? So I did my parentheses. Now I'm able to go back to my parentheses. So 3b minus 4, according to order of operations side met backwards. What's the next number I'm going to get rid of? Well, look. What's the S stand for?
Do plus 4.
Yeah, the S. So do you see any subtraction here?
Sure.
Come on. That's unnecessary. So do you see the subtraction sign here?
Yeah, so you gotta do 4 plus 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So on my right side, what do I bring down? Jalen? My right side, what do I bring down? Right side of the equal sign. 18. And on my left side, what do I bring down? 3b. And then my equal sign on my line of equality. All right, one more step left, Jalen. So how do I get the b by itself here? Good. What's that going to equal? So on my right side, I'm going to bring down the 6, my equal sign. And what do I bring down on my left side?
B.
So then we're saying b is equal to 6, and that's my final answer. No, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait until our new lesson.
What?
No, I promise you guys, the new lesson, you'll be just fine. I know I say that all the time. Yes, we're doing that today. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and integrate the opener into our new lesson as well. We're going to follow the same steps, which our same steps are going to be, set up. We're going to circle our variable, and we're going to draw our line of equality. So we're still going to do that when we're solving equations with square roots. So we're going to circle our variable, and we're going to draw our line of equality. We're going to do one more step when we solve equations with square roots, but we'll save that for when we do our notes. But if I want to get the variable here by itself, so if I want to get this variable c by itself, what do I have to get rid of? What's attached to the c that I want to get rid of? The square root sign. What's the inverse operation of square root? You guys know it. We've talked about it. We talked about it all second triad. What's the inverse operation for square root? That little 2, what's that little 2 called? What's that little 2 called? Nope, that's squared. Good. So the opposite of square root is squared. So we're going to square it, but whatever I do to one side of the line of equality, I do to the other. So on my left side here, I'm showing that my square cancels with the square root, meaning that variable c is now by itself. Then on my right side, I just solve. What's 7 squared?
14.
Oh,
Wait.
49.
Why is it not 14?
Because you have to do 7 times 7.
Yeah, which is
49.
49.
I forgot about that.
That's okay. You remembered very quickly, so that's it. See?
Wait, that's what we're doing, Lou?
Yes.
Oh, I'm not told you.
Now, do you think I'm going to make it harder than that, though?
Yeah.
Right, so you want to make it hard?
Every number you do that took the 2 of
Pretty, for the most part, yep. All right, let's look at our last opener problem. Okay, what's different about this problem compared to the one we just solved?
You got the square root next to the D.
And what else do we have, though?
You got minus.
Yeah, I have that -3 there. So when we go to solve an equation with the square root, we have to get the square root by itself first. So if I have to get this square root by itself, what am I going to get rid of, Jalen? But if I want to get rid of this, I want to get this by itself.
Yeah. Oh.
So what do I?
still gotta do?
So what do I have to get rid of if I want this by itself? Yeah. So how do I get rid of that -3? What's the inverse operation for -3? +3. Golden rule. Whatever I do to one side, Do it to the other. Draw your line, cancel. So on my left side, I bring the square root of d down. And then on my right side, what's 2 plus 3? 5. Okay. From here, I want to get the variable by itself. So what do I have to get rid of?
Yo, square root.
How do I get rid of the square root sign?
The small two at the top.
The square. So the inverse operation for square root is square. I show that square and square root cancel. Whatever I do to one side of my line of quality, I do to the other.
It wanna be 5 times 5?
It would be 5 times 5, which is what? No, that's 5 plus 5. 25. Am I finished?
No, right to D.
And
In box.
now am I finished?
Yeah.
Good. That's it.